Lived on North 10th Street for many, many, many years, even purchased the house from my father later on in life. And North 10th Street in Richmond was around the corner from Firehouse 2, which was the black, we called it the Black Firehouse. It shouldn't have been that way, but I feel like it's a rich history to have been that way, because the men there were not only firefighters, but they were friends. After work, they worked together. They were in church together. They were in social clubs together. I remember walking to bring my father lunch on Sundays. Seemed like his chicken smelled better than ours. I don't know why. But you know, it was a safe haven. When we later walked from high school home, you know, if we had a problem walking through the neighborhoods we had to walk through, we could always go to the firehouse and we would be okay until our father or mother or somebody picked us up. Knew all those men by name and family. I can just still see it vividly, even though I'm almost 70 now myself. It's a very rich history. I remember Harry Level. He was a part-time photographer, so some of the first professional pictures I have of my brother and myself, Harry did them, and he did them in that fire station. I remember how they cooked. I used to think, how can they eat that slop? But now, being grown, I know they cook good food. And so it was a pleasant place for us to go as children, and they didn't shoo us off or anything. You could just be there, talk to them, and then be on your way. Dad was the oldest of the boys in the family, and Uncle Joe was the youngest boy. And my dad became a firefighter first, of course, because he was oldest mainly. And then he had success somewhat, and he took the position personally of trying to bring other African Americans onto the fire department. Why shouldn't they be? Some of them had been in the military, this and that, so why couldn't they be firefighters? And so, and then along the way came Bobby, his cousin, his first cousin, then Alfred or Butch, his first cousin, and then Uncle Joe. I don't know in what order, but Uncle Joe is the one, I believe, that retired last. And Uncle Joe, he liked his job as well as my dad did, and they both ended up becoming battalion chiefs on the fire department. We didn't really recognize that the fire station was segregated. I didn't really know segregation until I got to high school, which would have been in the late 60s. This is a picture of, you've already interviewed Alfred and Robert. Their last name is Bowen, but their mother was a Perkins. My Uncle Joe and my father Irvin are surrounded by their grandmother Maud, and these all four men were her grandsons. And in any society, you know, that would be, you could be prideful of that, but in a small town like Richmond, knowing its history, this is monumental to me.